Hey, this is Professor Homa, continuing on with our CSS file. And the last thing I did was the list stuff. Now I'm going to do the footer. And I'm going to make a CSS rule for footer. And I'm going to do a space and do the brackets like I've been doing, just kind of repeating it. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a background color. I already know how to do that because I did it before. And I actually want the same brown that I'm using for the text up here. So I'm just going to copy this color, just the color, and put it here. That's all I need to do. And I'll save this and just take a look at what I have. And you can see it's hard to see the black, so I'm going to put the black in a white color. And if it's footer, it just means the text that's going to be in there. So I can just specify color. Color is font color. There's no font color when I give you a quiz and multiple choice and you're going to want to choose font color. It's not. It's just color. So I'm going to choose color here. And what I'm going to put for color is white. And you can just type white, or you could do #FFF is also white. If you don't believe me, type in FFF, right click, do quick edit, and you can see it's showing white up here. So that's white. Notice it's also showing my other colors here, so if you need them, they're kind of listing them in here, which is nice. So that's white. Now my text color is white. And I got to refresh it. And let me save again. It seems like with the CSS you have to save it before you refresh it. It doesn't do it automatically. Okay, so that doesn't look quite right yet. And notice what it's doing. It's actually putting the padding of the section below here. And that's because I think when I did it, this is actually a mistake, but that's okay. I knew I made that mistake, but I wanted to leave it in there anyway just so you'd see the problem. I don't want this footer to be inside the section. Matter of fact, it shouldn't be inside the section. Footer is a separate section. So the fact that when we did the index, and maybe you fixed it on your own, the footer shouldn't be inside section. It should be outside it because our section is kind of our middle section. Footer should be its own section at the end. So I'm going to highlight the section closing tag and I'm going to cut it. And I'm going to put it right here after the final paragraph and just put it there. And just by doing that, and I'm going to save and refresh, you can see already it kind of fixed that. Now it moved footer down to the bottom, and now the footer width is the full width of body, not the width of the section. Because that section had a padding in there, it was including the padding, but now it's ignoring that. Footer is its own section. We still want to space this out. I don't want it going right to the edge, and I want a little space top and bottom. So I'm going to put a little padding right on my footer section. So going back to my CSS, you see we have to go back and forth. I just had to fix that on my this is on my HTML file. I moved. You could have cut footer and put it outside a section, or because I had all the space here, I cut section and put it up here. So I want footer outside of section. Make sure you do that. And then I'm going to go back to my CSS, and there's my footer. And what I'm going to do is put a little space on either side, and here's a shortcut we could use. Instead of doing padding top, padding bottom, padding right, remember it goes top, right, bottom, left in order when you do it from left to right. So you kind of follow that clockwise starting at 12 o'clock with the top. That's the way it kind of works if you kind of picture that visual thing. But also you can use two figures. You can use three, but I only use two. If you use just two numbers, it'll do the top and bottom and then the left and right. Or you can do all four. So what I'm going to do is put padding here. And that way you don't have to put padding left, you just do padding. It's just a general padding. And what I'm going to put for padding here, for my footer, is I'm going to put some padding on the top and bottom and some padding on the left and right. Now, because I already have 16 pixels padding in my section, I'm going to try to keep that for my left and right. And my top and bottom, I don't think I need as much, so I think I'm going to put like 6 pixels for the top and bottom. Okay, this is just for the top and bottom. And then for my left and right, whenever you put two numbers, it's top and bottom, left and right, I'm going to put in 16 pixels and then finish that off. So that should make 6 pixels above, 6 pixels below, and 16 to the left and 16 to the right. And let's see how this looks. I'll go over here. Well, I'll save it, Command S. I'll refresh it, and that's what it did. So it still lines up. I like that alignment so that everything lines up at 16 pixels. But I don't need a lot of space above and below this. It's just a little copyright thing. But the whole point is that it gives a little contrast. It gives a little kind of balance at the bottom of the page. Okay, so that's all I have there. And this is pretty good at what I have so far. We're actually almost done with this. This is the footer at the bottom. So I have my my footer styles, a background color, a color of white, and a padding. And I made sure I use 16 so it lines up. So that looks good. Everything's aligned left. I could change alignment, and we will have to do that when we put our little picture thing in there. But the next thing I'm going to do is do my picture section here. So I'm gonna stop here, and I'll just leave this just for the footer section, and then I'll focus on the picture.